Good day, all. Welcome back to Cruisin' Classics YouTube channel. We've got a special treat for you Oldsmobile fans today. This is a first year 1966 Oldsmobile Toronado. The first U.S. manufactured front wheel drive since 1937 when Cord stopped making the 810 and 812. And Oldsmobile came up with this unique way of fitting a rocket V8 and an automatic transmission in the same size engine bay as a standard transmission car. And look at the styling on this. It is unbelievable. It was Motor Trend's Car of the Year in 1966, and it is easy to see why. This particular one is dressed in a respray of its original color, which is autumn bronze, and it is really attractive. You can see the cool front end here with the kind of V-shaped front grille. We've got a little badge from the Oldsmobile Club of America. You can see how nice that bright bumper looks. Those big protrusions at the end. And those are working flip-up headlights. I'll show you how those work once we get inside the car. Real nice high driver quality paint. A little touch up here and there. It has been driven, but it's only been driven 77,000 actual miles. And we've got the actual miles title to go along with it. Nice bright work down the sides of the car. Toronado script badge, wheel lip molding, rocker molding, window molding, drip rail molding. These super cool, really stylish round side mirrors. Got one on both sides. Wheel and tire combo looks great on the car. Got those little white line Nexons wrapped around some freshly powder coated 10-hole factory rims with beauty caps and dog dish centers with Oldsmobile logos. And you can see the drum brakes behind there. It is a power drum brake car on all four corners. The rear roof line of these looks spectacular. It's like a fastback almost. Let me try and get over here where we can really see the slant. It's just one big long slant all the way down to the back. Really cool looking. You can see you got door edge molding to try and help from dinging your door edges in parking lots. Sides of the car are nice and straight. I love the flares over the wheels. It gives it that going fast while sitting still kind of look. Another Oldsmobile Club of America badge, and you can see we've got some cool vents underneath the rear window. Got wraparound rear bumper, nice and bright. And a really cool taillight package here in the rear. It does show some age though. You see how bright the bumper is, but you can see pitting on this wraparound portion. It's not bad, but it's not as nice as the bumpers. And a nice Toronado by Oldsmobile badge. They sold 40,000 plus of these in its inaugural year in 1966. And then the next year they sold about half as many, because they changed the style and it wasn't as good looking. Here in the back, we've got a regular plaid vinyl mat underneath, but then this really cool Oldsmobile mat that's made to fit. And I can only assume that that's a stock piece there. Looks really good, fits right in there. You can see you got a full spare. The wheel matches the ones that are on the car. You just pop a beauty ring and a dog dish on there. It looks just like the others. And a factory style jack. Other than that, it's just your standard issue trunk. You do have jacking instructions and tire pressure stuff on here, but just an empty trunk. Down the passenger side of the car, just as nice as the driver's side. Good looking paint. Nice gaps. Window trim pops. All the trim pops against that autumn bronze paint. Now as we're moving back up to the front, those who watch our videos know that that means I'm going to pause real briefly here once I get to the end. I'm going to get that big long hood open and show you just how Oldsmobile managed to fit a 425 rocket V8 and a transmission into that engine bay. And we are back under the hood of the 66 Oldsmobile Toronado. And it looks very factory stock underneath here. You can see that cool dual snorkel blue air cleaner, sporting the Oldsmobile Toronado badge on top. And that blue block down under there is, according to the previous owner, original to the car. Engine and transmission are both matching to the car. That's what we're told, and we'd have to take some pieces of the engine apart in order to get to the numbers on it. So we're going to take their word for it on this one. Transmission was rebuilt actually about a year, 2 years ago. We've got the receipts for it. You can see the transmission back here. It is what they called a THM 425 front wheel drive 3-speed automatic transmission. You can see the nice blue valve covers there matching the blue block. Blue water pump, blue heads. Right off the top here you can see there's power steering, and we've got power brakes. Single reservoir, but the reservoir does look newer. Cast exhaust manifolds, and just clean and tidy underneath here. Everything looks like it's very well done. You can see that it does have air. It is hooked up. However, when you turn the air on, the clutch does not engage on the compressor. We have not investigated what that entails. I would expect, with all the pieces being there, that you should be able to get the air up and running reasonably easily. The intake manifold is stock. You can see the short distancing there and the unique shape of the intake. That's factory. They wanted to be able to keep that hood nice and low and fit that big air cleaner on there, so they changed the intake manifold. Looks great. Let's go ahead and take a peek inside this car. That 425, there's a 385 horsepower engine according to factory spec when it was new. It'll get this 4,500 pound car up and moving. Interior is absolutely stunning. Gorgeous bronze everywhere you look. You can see we've got courtesy lights, kind of bar style, over on the B pillars and underneath the dash. Really attractive look. It pops in the nighttime when you turn those lights on. Let's check out the door cards. Big long doors here and no sag to them whatsoever, which is fantastic. Great styling on the doors. You can tell those are OEM. There's a little bit of light wear there, but very, very nice. Correct black carpet on the bottoms of them, matching the black carpet as you look inside. Nice inviting bright sill plate, double wide floor mats, and the floors are completely flat in here, and that is because of the design of putting the transmission up front and it being front wheel drive, so there's no tunnel that runs through the car. So lots of floor space and those great floor mats in there. Back seat looks just as nice as the front. You can see the really cool speaker panel there, and they look never sat in. They're absolutely flawless, as is the carpet. You can see you got an ashtray on each side for the kids. These seats are exceedingly comfortable. This car is a cruiser. You can drive it to Florida tomorrow. It is super nice out on the road. Lots of suspension work done to it recently within the last couple years, and we've got receipts for that. Front end was rebuilt. It's got new shocks, new ball joints, all kinds of good stuff. The dash is kind of two-tiered. There's the lower tier here, and then the upper metal tier up here where we've got just a vent. There's a little bit of cracking right there and right there on top of the gauge cluster area. And the gauge cluster is super cool. Look at that speedometer. It rolls. The speedometer actually rolls, and the line in the center is what tells you how fast you're going. Kind of like a slot machine or a rolling pin. Really, really unique. And the way that the steering wheel is made, it really kind of sets that off right in the center there. Just gorgeous. It does have other gauges and some warning lights. Temperature and oil pressure are just warning lights. So one of the previous owners of the vehicle installed these auto gauge meters down here for oil pressure or water temp, so you can monitor those things down low, and those do work. The original AM push button radio unfortunately does not work. You could replace it with a modern, say, retro sound unit, and you'd still listen to your cruising tunes. Up above, kind of an odd thing here, the old analog clock still ticking along. You can see the second hand sweeping on it. Looking at the other side of the dash, you can see we've got controls for the HVAC system, wipers and lights. Wipers work just as they should. Lights pop up and down just as they should. And a quick look at the odometer in the center here. Let me zoom in on that. You can see 77,651.5 miles. Steering wheel is original to the car. It does have a couple splits in it, which is typical of one of these. But boy, is it cool. Check out this horn ring. And you know what? It works. Sounds like a train horn. Very cool. The steering wheel, just the whole feel of it, with a little grip right here on the sides, that cool horn ring in the center, and the way it frames the gauge cluster, absolutely gorgeous. You can see it is a column shift for the 3-speed automatic. Up front, you've got his and hers ashtrays with a lighter in the center, looking very bright and brilliant. And it does take a second hand to get the glove box open. Nothing exciting in there, just a regular standard issue glove box. Carpets, like I said, look great. Passenger side door panel looks every bit as good or better than the driver's. The headliner is very, very nice, but does have a tiny hole about the size of a dime back here in the back. Don't know how it ever happened. Nobody ever patched it. I wouldn't even notice it really unless I was inspecting the car. You can see how nice the rest of the headliner is. Nice, tight. You got dual visors. Nice chromed rear view mirror. The styling is just phenomenal inside this car. We do have as well the original window sticker for it, and you can tell it looks period correct, and it's very, very neat to have. We'll have a photograph of that in our ad. All right, somebody left the vent on. You can hear immediately that came on. I'm going to shut it off over here, and I'm going to give it one pump and start the car. This car's had a lot of work done to it under its previous ownership. It runs like a top. The exhaust doesn't sound intimidating, but this car does get up and roll. 475 foot-pounds of torque. It'll move for a big car. There we go, down into low idle. Just purrs like a kitten. I'll show you down here that it is a cold start. We've got our oil pressure gauge working. And you can see I just started it up, running nice and cold. Amp gauge works. And over here our fuel gauge works and tells us that if we're going to take a test drive, we probably better put a little bit of gas in her. Like you heard when it first started up, the fan does work. And the heat works. It's just that the AC doesn't. But again, I think that it may just need a charge. Worst case, it needs a compressor. But all the components are there. Everything's hooked up. If it was me buying the car, I would pay a little extra to get that working again and enjoy icy cold air as I'm cruising this baby down the freeway. I'm going to go ahead and flip the headlights up and show you that they do work. Let's see, lights. There we go. I can hear them operating. There they are. Looks like we got one out on the driver's side there, but they definitely go up and down the way they should. I'm going to shut those off. You can watch them retract. And you can hear just how well that engine runs. That 425 purring like a pussycat. Go to the back and give a listen to the exhaust real quick. Again, it's not intimidating, but these big stainless steel exhaust tips look real nice. It's got a nice little sound to it. This is one very unique and cool cruiser. If you're an Oldsmobile fan, you are going to know what I'm talking about here. You're going to want this one for your collection. If you've got any questions about this 66 Oldsmobile Toronado, give us a call at Cruisin Classics in Columbus. Our number is 614-276-7355. We're happy to help you with financing. We're happy to help you get it shipped to wherever your garage is. We're happy to answer any questions you got about this car. Just give us a call, 614-276-7355 at Cruisin Classics in Columbus, Ohio, with this exceptionally cool 1966 Oldsmobile Toronado big block V8 front wheel drive cruiser. Give us a call today. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back again tomorrow with something else cool.